A woman started investing at 43 with $8,000 in savings. 22 years later, at 65, she retired with $720,000. Her coworker started investing at 25, did it inconsistently for 40 years, and retired at 65 with $350,000. Late starter with focused strategy beat early starter with excuses. You're 45, 50, maybe older, haven't invested seriously yet. Everyone's telling you it's too late. Should have started 20 years ago. You'll never catch up. Just accept working until 70. They're wrong. Dead wrong. Starting late isn't the problem. Starting wrong is the problem. I'm breaking down the complete comeback strategy for people starting after 40. Exact steps to catch up and retire comfortably, even if you're beginning with zero today. Stick to the end, because Section 7 shows you how to compress 20 years of growth into 15 through tactics most people never hear about. Hit subscribe and comment starting at 40 plus with your age if you're beginning now. Or drop late but committed if you're already catching up aggressively. Now let me start with the truth. Nobody tells you about starting late. Number 1. The math truth. You have more time than you think. Here's the first thing you need to understand. Everyone telling you it's too late, they're doing math wrong. Or they're not doing math at all, just repeating what they heard from other people who never invested either. Let's do actual math. You're 45 years old right now. You want to retire at 65. That's 20 years. Not 2 years, not 5 years. 20 full years of compound growth. And if you can invest $1,000 monthly at an 8% average return over those 20 years, you end up with $550,000. Add Social Security on top of that, you're retiring comfortably, not too late, not even close. But here's what destroys people. They compare themselves to someone who started at 25 and feel hopeless. They have 20 more years than I. Wrong way to think about it. Because here's what actually happens to people who start at 25. They invest sporadically, panic sell during crashes, stop contributing when life gets hard, restart 5 years later, repeat the cycle. 40 years of inconsistent mediocrity. You're starting at 45 with intensity and focus. You invest $1,000 monthly and never stop. Never panic. Never quit. 20 years of pure disciplined execution beats 40 years of wishy-washy attempts every single time. Let me show you the comparison that'll change how you see this. Person A starts at 25, invests $200 monthly, sounds responsible, but stops for 3 years during the 30s for a house. Stops again for 2 years in the 40s because money's tight, reduces the contribution multiple times. By 65, after 40 years of starting and stopping, they've got maybe $300,000. Person B starts at 45 with nothing. Late start. Invests $1,000 monthly aggressively. Never stops, never reduces. Handles market crashes without panicking. 20 years of intensity. Retires at 65 with $550,000. The late starter beat the early starter by $250,000 purely through commitment and focus. The difference isn't time, it's intensity. Early starters have time but usually lack urgency. Late starters don't have unlimited time, so every month counts. That urgency becomes an advantage if you use it right. Man at 47 thought he was finished. The financial advisor ran the numbers. 18 years until 65. $1,200 monthly invested equals $520,000 at retirement. That's it? That's enough? He asked. Yes, $520,000 plus Social Security equals a comfortable retirement. Not yacht money. Comfortable life money. He'd been paralyzed, thinking he needed $2 million. Reality was that he needed consistent investing for 18 years. Started immediately. At 65 had $540,000. Retired on schedule. His late start didn't matter at all. Stop mourning 1995. You can't invest in 1995. You can invest in 2025. 20 years from now, you'll be 65 either way. Question is, broke or comfortable? Here's something you need to pay attention to, because time is on your side if you use it right, but there's one thing that'll destroy every month of compound growth you're about to build. Number 2, step 1, eliminate debt immediately. No negotiations. First actual step, and it's non-negotiable. Before you invest $1, you eliminate every penny of consumer debt. credit cards, personal loans, car payments, everything except your mortgage. And I don't mean work on it slowly, I mean scorched earth, nuclear option, every available dollar attacks debt until it's completely gone. Here's why this is critical at 40 plus, in a way it isn't at 25. You're carrying $15,000 in credit card debt at 18% interest. That's $2,700 yearly, going straight to banks as pure interest. Not principal, just interested. Now imagine that $2,700 invested for 20 years at 8%. That's $125,000 of future wealth you just incinerated to carry consumer debt. At 25, debt sucks, but you've got 40 years to recover from mistakes. At 45, you've got 20 years to build an entire retirement. Every single dollar matters. Every dollar going to interest payments is a dollar not compounding toward the only retirement you're going to get. Zero tolerance policy. Debt gets eliminated or retirement doesn't happen. The urgency is different now. When you're young, people say, pay off debt when you can. At 40 plus, pay off debt immediately or accept you're working until 70. Those are the options. There's no middle ground where you casually chip away at debt while kind of investing. The math doesn't work. Pick one. Eliminate debt fast, then invest aggressively, or stay in debt and keep working forever. Here's the timeline that works. Months 1 through 12, maybe 18 if debt is massive. Every available dollar attacks debt using the avalanche method. The highest interest rate gets destroyed first. Minimum payments on everything else. Side hustle income? All are in debt. Tax refund, debt, bonus, debt. Live on the bare minimum. This year is about financial warfare against your debt. After debt is eliminated, here's the magic. That $850 monthly that was going to debt payments now goes straight to investments. Automatically. You were already living without that money. Keep living without it. But now it's building wealth instead of enriching banks. A woman at 44 was carrying $22,000 in consumer debt. A mix of credit cards and a personal loan. Paying $950 monthly just to service it. Realizing that at her age, she couldn't waste a single month paying interest. Went absolutely nuclear. Picked up weekend work. Sold stuff she didn't need. Cut expenses to the poverty level temporarily. Cleared all $22,000 in 14 months. Brutal 14 months. Then redirected that $950 monthly to investments. 20 years later at 64, that redirected debt payment had become $450,000. Eliminating debt at 44 created her entire retirement. Waiting even 2 more years would have cost her over $100,000 in lost compound growth. You can't invest your way out of high-interest debt. The math doesn't work. Eliminate debt first, fast, ruthlessly. Then the real wealth building begins. All of the above will be meaningless if you miss this last detail. Because once debt is gone, there's a legal advantage available only to people over 50 that most late starters don't even know exists. Number 3, Step 2, max out catch-up contributions, the 50-plus advantage. Alright, debt is eliminated. Now here's the advantage you have that 25-year-olds don't, and most people over 50 don't even know this exists. Catch-up contributions. The government literally created an extra contribution room specifically for people who started late, and almost nobody uses it. Here's how this works. The normal 401k contribution limit is $23,000 yearly. But if you're 50 or older, you get an extra $7,500 in catch-up contributions. A total of $30,500 you can be put in a tax-deferred account. The IRA normal limit is $7,000. Over 50, you get an extra $1,000. $8,000 total. That's $8,500 extra yearly in tax-advantaged contributions that people under 50 can't access. The government saw that people started late and said, here's extra room to catch up. But most people over 50 have no idea this exists. They contribute the standard amount and leave thousands in legal tax advantage on the table every single year. Let me show you what maxing catch-up contributions does. You're 52 years old. You max your 401k with a catch-up, $30,500 yearly. Max your IRA with a catch-up, $8,000 yearly. That's $38,500 going into tax-advantaged accounts every year. Do that for 13 years until 65. At 8% returns, you retire with over $770,000. from maxing catch-up provisions alone. Impossible on my salary, you're thinking? Maybe. But here's the reality. If you can't find a way to max catch-ups, you're not retiring at 65 anyway. So either figure out how to make it work through income increases and expense cuts, or accept working into your 70s. Those are the options. The math is the math. Man turned 50, discovered catch-up contributions existed, increased his 401k contributions aggressively to max, including catch-up, maxed his IRA. Combined, he was putting $33,000 yearly into retirement accounts. This is impossible, he thought initially. Adjusted lifestyle dramatically, cut housing costs, drove the old car longer, ate out way less, made it work. 15 years later, at 65, he had $890,000 in retirement accounts purely from maximizing catch-up provisions after 50. His friends who didn't know catch-ups existed averaged $200,000 saved. His knowledge of one rule created a $700,000 difference. Contact your HR department on Monday. Ask about catch-up contributions. Increase your 401k contributions to the maximum, including the catch-up amount. Open an IRA if you don't have one. Max it with a catch-up contribution. This is your legal advantage for starting late. The government is literally helping you catch up. Use it or lose it. There's no other time in your life when you get an extra contribution room. This is it. Ages 50 through retirement, that's your window. Max it every single year. Do you see anything unusual? The answer is right here. Because catch-up contributions help you save more, but how you invest that money changes everything when you're starting after 40. Number 4. Different strategy than your 20s. Time changes everything. Here's where late starters make a critical mistake. They hear invest in stocks for growth and go 100% stocks because they're trying to catch up fast. Or they hear be conservative as you get older and go 100% bonds, and their money doesn't grow enough. Both approaches fail because they're not accounting for the specific situation of starting late. At 25 with 40 years ahead, you can be 100% stocks. Market crashes, you've got decades to recover. At 45 with 20 years, different game. You need growth, can't be too conservative or you won't build enough wealth. But you also need stability. Can't be too aggressive, or one market crash at age 63 destroys everything. The balance is everything. Too conservative at 45 means your money grows too slowly. 500,000 targets become impossible. Too aggressive means you're vulnerable to market crashes right when you can least afford them. You need the sweet spot, aggressive enough for growth, stable enough to handle volatility. Here's the allocation that works for late starters. Age 40 to 50, 80% stocks, 20% bonds. Age 50 to 60, 70% stocks, 30% bonds. Age 60 to 65, 60% stocks, 40% bonds. This gives you growth when you need it early, stability as you approach retirement. And let me show you why this matters with real numbers. Guy at 48 went 100% stocks, thinking, I need maximum growth to catch up. Built his portfolio to $380,000 by age 60. The market crashed by 35%. His portfolio dropped to $247,000. He panicked, sold everything, and locked in the loss. Never recovered. Retired broke. Different guy, same age, same starting point. Did 70-30 stocks to bonds. The market crashed same amount. His portfolio only dropped to $314,000 because bonds held stable. He stayed calm, held through the crash, and recovered completely in 3 years. Retired at 65 with $600,000. The first guy's aggressive allocation cost him his retirement. The second guy's balanced approach saved it. You don't have the luxury of being young and aggressive. Can't afford to lose half your portfolio at 62 and wait 10 years for recovery. Also, don't have the luxury of being too conservative. Can't grow wealth fast enough on pure bonds. You need strategic balance. Use target date funds if you want it automatic. Target date 2045 or 2050 fund automatically adjusts your stock to bond ratio as you age. Set it and forget it. Or build a simple 3-fund portfolio yourself. Total stock index, total international index, total bond index. Adjust the ratio every few years as you get closer to retirement. Young investors can afford extreme approaches. You can't. You need a calculated balance between growth and protection. Age-appropriate allocation isn't cowardice, it's the wisdom of knowing your timeline matters. Wait, there's something you need to pay attention to. Because the right allocation helps, but the investments inside that allocation make the difference between retiring comfortably and retiring broke. Number 5. Index funds only, no stock picking allowed. Here's the strategy that'll save you from destroying your comeback before it starts. Index funds only. No individual stocks, no hot tips, no this company is going to explode, no. Trying to pick winners, none of it. You're starting late, which means you cannot afford stock picking mistakes. At 25, you can gamble on individual stocks. Pick Tesla, maybe it works, maybe it doesn't. Doesn't matter, you've got 40 years to recover from losers. At 45, one major stock pick gone wrong can obliterate years of progress you don't have time to rebuild. The risk-reward is completely upside down for late starters. Index funds give you the entire market. VTI, Total Stock Market Index. VOO, S&P 500 Index. You're buying pieces of hundreds or thousands of companies at once. Apple, Microsoft, Amazon, everything. One of them fails? Doesn't matter. You own all of them. Instant diversification, no single company risk. Historically, 10% average returns, fees of 0.04%. This is what wins for late starters. And here's what kills people trying to catch up. They think I'm behind, I need bigger returns, I'll pick individual stocks to beat the market. Then they lose 20% on a stock that looked promising. Just destroyed 2 years of contributions. Can't afford that at 48. Can't recover time you don't have. Studies show that 95% of active investors underperform the index over 20 years. Professionals with research teams and Bloomberg terminals can't beat it. Working full-time at a regular job definitely can't beat it. And you know what? You don't need to beat it. Index returns are enough. A 10% average over 20 years builds massive wealth. Getting greedy, trying to beat the market, is how late starters stay broke. 2 guys, both 46, both starting with 0. Guy A picks individual stocks, reads articles, follows the tips, gets excited about the next Amazon. 10 years later, 140,000. Some winners, some losers, constant stress about whether to hold or sell. Guy B buys a boring total market index fund every month automatically. Never thinks about it. 10 years later, 195,000. Market returns, no stress, 55,000 ahead. Trying to beat the market cost. Guy A, 55,000 plus a decade of anxiety. Boring index investing won decisively. At 45, you need the reliable path, not the exciting path. Excitement in investing usually means losing money you can't afford to lose. Set up automatic monthly purchases of a total stock market index fund or an S&P 500 index fund. Never sell. Hold for 15 to 20 years. Let market returns do their job. Boring wins, reliable wins, consistent wins. That's the late starter advantage. You're old enough to know boring beats exciting every single time. It sounds simple, but the hardest part is what's about to be told next. Because investing 1,000 monthly works, but what if your current income makes even 1,000 monthly impossible? That's where this next strategy becomes critical. Number 6, increase income aggressively. Every dollar counts. Let's address the elephant in the room. All this advice about investing 1,000 to 1,500 monthly sounds great until you realize your current salary barely covers expenses with nothing left over. At 45, making 45,000 yearly, where's the investment money supposed to come from? Here's the brutal truth. If your current income isn't enough to invest aggressively, you have 2 options. Stay at your current income and accept you're working until 75, or increase income dramatically and retire at 65. Those are the options. There's no magic third option where you retire on time without investing enough. Income increase at 40 plus hits differently than at 25. You have something younger people don't have, 20 plus years of work experience, skills, networks, knowledge. But you need to monetize it aggressively instead of just showing up and hoping for small annual raises that barely cover inflation. The math of income increases is devastating. You're making $55,000, get a $10,000 raise to $65,000. Keep lifestyle at the $55,000 level. Invest the entire $10,000 yearly. Over 20 years at 8%, that one raise just built $450,000. One strategic income jump created almost your entire retirement. Here are the aggressive income strategies that actually work at 40 plus. Salary negotiation every 2 to 3 years. Not asking nicely, negotiating with market data, and competing offers. Job hopping for 20 to 30% increases instead of 3% annual raises. Consulting or freelancing in your area of expertise at rates higher than your salary. Side business leveraging 20 years of industry knowledge. Contract work at premium rates instead of permanent employment. A woman at 51 making $62,000 realized it wasn't enough to catch up. Had 25 years of experience in her field. Started consulting on weekends. Same work she did for her employer, just for other companies at consultant rates. An extra $18,000 yearly. Every penny went straight to investments. 14 years to 65. That weekend consulting income alone built $450,000. Main salary funded her life. Side income funded her retirement. She leveraged the exact advantage she had. Deep experience that younger people couldn't match. You're not 25 competing with fresh energy. You're 45 competing with deep expertise. Use it. Audit your current compensation against market rates. If you're underpaid, negotiate aggressively or leave for a better opportunity. Side hustle in your field of expertise. 5 to 10 hours weekly. All extra income, 100%, goes to investments, not 90%. All of it. Every $1,000 monthly income increase invested over 20 years becomes $450,000 at retirement. You don't need to become rich. You need to increase your income by $10,000 to $20,000 yearly and invest the difference. That alone changes your entire retirement outcome. Current income not enough? Increase it. Aggressively. Urgently. Your timeline demands it. Working harder at your current job, hoping for modest raises won't cut it. Strategic moves, negotiation, job changes, side income are mandatory for late starters. All of the above will be meaningless if you miss this last detail, because increasing income helps, but there's one more strategy that frees up massive capital without earning another dollar. Number 7, downsize lifestyle now, not at retirement. Final strategy, and most people hate hearing it, but it's the truth. If you're starting late and current expenses leave no room to invest, you downsize your lifestyle now. Not when you retire, not eventually. Now, because every month you wait in an expensive lifestyle is a month of compound growth you're sacrificing. Here's what most people plan. I'll live large now, then downsize at retirement when I need less money. Backwards. Completely backwards. Downsize at 45 and invest the savings? That freed up money compounds for 20 years into hundreds of thousands. Downsize at 65, zero compound growth, just smaller expenses with zero wealth built. The math is brutal. You're spending $2,500 monthly on a mortgage for a house bigger than you need. Downsize to something costing $1,500. That's $1,000 monthly freed up. Invest it for 20 years at 8%. You just created $460,000 by moving to a smaller place. Waiting until retirement to downsize? That $460,000 never gets built. Common downsides that free up massive capital. Housing. Move from an expensive house to a moderate apartment or smaller house. Saves $800 to $1,500 monthly. Transportation. Go from 2 car payments to 1 paid-off, reliable car. Saves $400 to $700 monthly. Location. Move from an expensive area to a moderately cost area. Saves $500 to $1,000 monthly. Total freed up? $1,800 to $3,200 monthly, which was disappearing into lifestyle instead of building retirement. But I've worked hard. I deserve to enjoy life now. Okay, enjoy working until 75 and then, because that's the trade. Big house and car payments in your 40s equals working forever. A modest lifestyle in your 40s equals retiring at 65. You pick. There's no version where you live large and retire early, starting from zero at 45. The math doesn't exist. A couple at 46 and 48, absolutely zero saved, finally faced reality. Needed dramatic action fast. Sold their house, moved to a smaller place, $1,400 monthly savings right there. Sold the second car they barely used. $450 monthly savings. Total $1,850 monthly freed up. Friends thought they'd lost their minds. You're downsizing in your 40s? That's what you do when you retire. 17 years later, At 63 and 65, they had $680,000 invested. That downsizing in their 40s created their entire retirement. If they'd waited to downsize at retirement, would still be working at 75 plus with maybe $50,000 saved. This isn't permanent poverty. It's strategic discomfort for 15 to 20 years that creates permanent comfort for 30 plus years of retirement. You're not sacrificing forever. You're optimizing the exact window when compound growth matters most. Look at your three biggest expenses right now: housing, transportation, location. Can you cut any of them significantly? That freed capital invested for 20 years is worth 5 to 10 times the amount you cut. Every $100 monthly freed up becomes $55,000 at retirement. You don't have the luxury of waiting. Downsize today, build wealth tomorrow, or stay comfortable today and work forever. Now let me show you exactly how all 7 strategies work together to create your comeback. Look, here's everything. Comeback strategy for starting after 40. Mindset shift. 20 years with intensity beats 40 years of procrastination. You have enough time. Eliminate debt immediately. Zero tolerance for interest-stealing compound growth. 12 to 18 months maximum. Max catch-up contributions after 50. Extra $8,500 yearly legal advantage. Use it or lose it. Age-appropriate allocation. 70-30 stocks to bonds. Balance growth and stability. Index funds only. No stock picking allowed. Market returns are enough. Increase income aggressively. Negotiate, job hop, side hustle. Every extra dollar invested counts. Downsize Lifestyle Now. Housing, transportation, location cuts free $1,500 to $2,500 monthly for investing. This week, list all debts. Create an elimination timeline. Calculate catch-up amounts if over 50. Open an IRA. Set up an automatic $500 plus monthly minimum. Research salary versus market. Identify one major expense to cut. Comment starting at 40 plus with your age. Debt-free if you just cleared it. Maxing catch-up if over 50 using it. Share your comeback plan. What next? Comment. 1. Asset allocation by age calculator. 2. Catch-up contribution complete breakdown. 3. Income acceleration tactics. 4. Downsizing without regret guide. The past is gone. Can't change it. Can change today. 20 years from now, you're 65 either way. Broke or comfortable, your choice. Start today.